What's up, YouTube? Big Way Naughty. Big Toe starts the party. I'm up in here chilling, about to take a look at the excerpt from Dave Chappelle's latest comedy special. It's been buzzing around the internet. I haven't seen it yet. You know, I'm late to this particular special, and I believe he's talking about the environment right now, as far as the uproar over the unjust killings of unarmed black men in this country. And if you really want to make a difference, click on the link below and get yourself a Black Reparations Matters t-shirt. You know, Black Lives Matter, of course, but it doesn't matter to the level that you're getting reparations or you're saying that this life has value. People have to pay, you know, for the unjust treatment, you know, throughout history. So if you're serious about that, or if you just want to get exercise every few months when a black life is lost unjustly, continue wearing your Black Lives Matter t-shirt to the next 30 unjust killings, or get yourself a Black Reparations Matter t-shirt and try to add some substance to your marches and your walks, so people could take notice that, okay, this is probably something we need to look into. Maybe if there were reparations, there wouldn't be instances where people are so quick to take a black life. This life has value. Get yourself a Black Reparations Matters t-shirt down below.
It's hard to figure out what to say about George Floyd, so I'm not going to say it yet. I'll say something. Are you guys having a good time, or is this weird? I gotta tell you, this is actually like the first concert in North America since all this shit happened. So, like it or not, it's history. It's gonna be in the books. At least we tried. There's other comedians who, but this is not the first show, but the other shows were like in drive-ins, and if people like the niggas' jokes, they honk the horn. Didn't sound like any fun at all, did it? So what's you guys? You a black and white friend hanging out? Do you guys know each other? It's gonna be a quiet car ride home.
Dave be on them cigarettes, man. You got that cigarette voice.
I'm just kidding. They're not really even riots. Have you noticed that? It's a fucking weird time. In like 1993, I'm not sure what year it was, but I was in LA. I had smoked a joint, and I was watching the movie Apocalypse Now. It was like just after 4 o'clock in the morning. And what later would become known the norm.
Y'all check out my Apocalypse Now reaction. I did a, reaction to one of my favorite scenes. Marlon Brando killed that shit, man.
Ridge earthquake happened. It felt like it started in my apartment. You know, I'm from east of Mississippi. On this side, we don't know what earthquakes are about. I gotta tell you something, man. Excuse me for burping. This shit was terrifying. It was absolutely terrifying.
And this is the first time a black man got pulled out of a Benz and just unjustly murdered, man. I've been driving a Benz. It's crazy.
Things went through my mind. I was like, not naked, but you know what I mean, just chilling in my boxes. I put my clothes on. I found my weed and some a pipe and a lighter and some money and my keys. All these things. And while the earthquake is happening, while I'm experiencing what earthquake is the first time, and I was certain that I might very possibly die. As a matter of fact, I remember I made a point not to scream, just in case I lived, I wouldn't have to remember myself being vocally terrified, but I forgave myself for being terrified. That earthquake couldn't have been more than 35 seconds. This man kneeled on a man's neck for 8 minutes and 46 seconds. Can you imagine that? This kid thought he was going to die. He knew he was going to die. He called for his mother. He called for his dead mother. I've only seen that once before in my life. My father, on his deathbed, called for his grandmother. When I watched that tape, I understood this man knew he was going to die. People watched it. People filmed it. And for some reason that I still don't understand, all these fucking police had their hands in their pockets. Who are you talking to? What are you signifying? That you can kneel on a man's neck for 8 minutes and 46 seconds and feel like you wouldn't get the wrath of God. That's what is happening right now. It's not for a single cop. It's for all of it. Fucking all of it. I don't mean to get heavy, but we gotta say something.
Yeah, there wasn't no punchlines in that one. Wasn't none.
He told the police he couldn't breathe. One of the hardest parts of the tape to listen to, he said, please. I can't tell you, as a man, watching another man go through something like that, what it makes you feel like. I didn't watch the tape for a week. I didn't watch it. I knew, I saw a still picture. I said, I don't want to see this because I can't unsee it. But when I finally watched it, I understood.
It's like it's hard to watch it. Just like the guy that got killed by the Wendy's, man. It's hard to even click on certain things, man.
Nobody's going home. Anyone who sees this, well, they're going to be furious. Oh. So the other night, I'm in my little clubhouse, and I'm watching Don Lemon, that hotbed of reality. He says, where are all these celebrities? Why aren't you talking? This nigga said everybody. I was screaming at the TV, I dare you to say me, nigga. I dare you. Has anyone ever listened to me do comedy? Have I not ever said anything about these things before? So now all of a sudden, this nigga expects me to step in front of the streets and talk over the work these people are doing as a celebrity? Answer me. Do you want to see a celebrity right now? Do we give a fuck what Ja Rule thinks? Does it matter about celebrity? No. This is the streets talking for themselves. They don't need me right now. I kept my mouth shut. And I'll still keep my mouth shut. But don't think that my silence is complicit to all the shit these niggas are saying, trying to get everyone to sing these fucking songs. I know all these songs. I was raised on these songs.
Negro spirituals.
Why would anyone care what their favorite comedian thinks after they saw a police officer kneel on a man's neck for 8 minutes and 46 seconds? I can't get that number out of my head because it was my time of birth on my birth certificate. I was born at 8:46 in the morning, and they killed this nigga in 8 minutes and 46 seconds. I watch everything everybody says. I think Candace Owens try to convince white America, don't worry about it. He's a criminal anyway. I don't give a fuck what this nigga did. I don't care what this nigga did. I don't care if he personally kicked Candace Owens in her stinky pussy. I don't know if it stinks, but I imagine it does. If I ever find out, I'll let you know for sure. I'll tell like Azealia Banks, I'll tell.
Stupid, man. Stupid.
I'm the worst. But I know why. I figured out why they want to hear from me, and it's serious. The only reason people want to hear from people like me is because you trust me. You don't expect me to be perfect. But I don't lie to you. I'm just a guy. And I don't lie to you. And every institution that we trust lies to us. How come they never talk about Chris Dorner? That's a story about a man who believed he did everything right. Do you know who Chris Dorner is? Well, Chris Dorner, if you remember, was an African-American police officer in the LAPD. He was executing a warrant with his partner, who was a white woman. And white women, I support you, but boy, if y'all don't shut the fuck up. During the process of executing this warrant, this white woman did what Chris Dorner thought was excessive force. I don't know what she did. She kicked a motherfucker that was handcuffed or hit a guy that was handcuffed or something. But Chris Dorner, the black police officer who watched this white woman do this, reported this to his superior, made a formal complaint, and was subsequently fired from the LAPD.
That's crazy.
He went through the system. He took every legal avenue that he believed he had to get reinstated. And he was not reinstated. And when his last appeal was finished, this motherfucker, some wild shit, wrote a manifesto. You know where this is going. And in that manifesto, he called me a genius. Me, Dave Chappelle. Not just me, but me. He said, Kevin Hart fan too. But he called me a genius, and he told Bradley Cooper, who's a friend of mine, don't do any more hangovers, nigga. That's enough. That's what he said. And he told his story. Chris Dorner told his story, how he did everything right when he was in the military, and subsequently everything else. This is before any of this shit happened. And then he said, which was the wildest thing, he said, I'm going to wage asymmetrical war on the LA Police Department and their families. What's an ominous thing to say? And he did it. This motherfucker ambushed two police officers who were just sitting in their squad car, murdered them. He went to another police officer's house and killed his daughter. Boy, it was terrifying. And this motherfucker was on the run. He was doing it. I was supposed to do the Grammys. I was supposed to present at the Grammys that week. And a guy from the LAPD called me and said, Mr. Chappelle, we understand you're coming to Los Angeles. And I don't know if you know, but there was a lunatic on the streets who was killing police officers. And we would like to know if we can pick you up at the airport. We're extending this courtesy to everyone he mentioned in his manifesto. And I told the police, I'm fine. I read the manifesto. He likes me. Is there anything I can do for you, nigga? Because I get very worried. They found him. Big Bear. He was hiding in a cabin.
They blew that cabin up.
They figured out what this nigga was. Fuck. No less than 400 police officers showed up and answered the call. And boy, let me tell you something. They Swiss cheese this nigga. He is as dead could be. He is done. And you know why 400 cops showed up? Because one of their own was murdered. So how the fuck can't they understand what's going on in these streets? We saw ourselves, like you see, yourself.
So there you have it. The story of Chris Dorner is a story of somebody who just snapped, and Dave Chappelle bringing it back, comparing it to the George Floyd case. And it's just a sad day, man. Black reparations matter. It's been a sad 2020 as far as news. If you're doing better financially, you're focused in and you're not distracted about the outer craziness. But 2020, I don't even watch the news. I've been watching African movies nonstop, man. African movies, and pushing these Black Reparations Matter t-shirts, man. Because I don't think Chris Dorner would have snapped if he had reparations. I don't think that George Floyd would have got killed if he had reparations. There would be too much self-worth that the outside community and inside community would see and feel for any of that to take place. So if you're serious about change, Black Reparations Matter t-shirts down below in the link, man. But what y'all think about this video, man, and the whole scene right now worldwide? Let us know in the comments below. Like and subscribe as well. Boss Flavor, I'm your neighbor. It's that 187 on the hater. Boss Flavor, I'm your neighbor. It's that 187 on the hater. Boss Flavor, I'm your neighbor. It's that 187 on the hater. Boss Flavor, I'm your neighbor.